Every great journey begins with the first step. And for over 2 billion people around the world, that first step into divine guidance begins with the Holy Qur'an, the final revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this series, I will present 100 facts about the Holy Qur'an. In this episode, we'll explore 10 powerful facts about its beginnings, how it came to us, and why its story is unlike any other book in history. So, let's start with part 1 after my intro. Hello, and welcome back to The Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. Fact 1. The meaning of Qur'an. Derived from qara'a, it translates to read or recite. The Qur'an itself identifies as a recitation, highlighting its oral, natural beginning into a culture where oral communication was key. Pre-Islamic Arabia was an oral community, not written. Very few could read or write. Because of this, memory was the main way to preserve history, genealogy, and laws. For this reason, the poets were popular. People trained their minds to hold and recite vast amounts of information, word for word. Poetry was the highest form of art in Arabian society. But what was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not poetry. Fact 2. The beginning in cave Hira. Revelation started in the cave on Mount Nur. Nur translates from Arabic meaning light. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 40 years old when Angel Jibril alaihi salam first commanded, Iqra, read, recite. Fact 3. The first verses. Surah Al-Alaq, Surah 96, ayats 1 through 5, was the first revelation. Recite, in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging clot. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not. This ayat in first revelation put emphasis on reading, writing, and knowledge, showing Islam's foundation is literacy and learning. Fact 4. The last verses. Many scholars agree, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah 2, Ayat 281, was the final verse. And fear the day when you will be returned to Allah. Then every soul will be compensated for what it earned, and they will not be treated unjustly. A reminder that the Qur'an begins with knowledge and ends with accountability. When we know better, we should do better. When we have a clear understanding of why we should conduct ourselves on a righteous moral path, when we make a covenant with God, on our return to Him, we will be asked how tightly we held on to that agreement and how we conducted ourselves during our life on this earth. Fact 5. 23 years of revelation in 2 phases. The first 13 years in Mecca focus on faith, establishing the core beliefs, pillars in Islam, Tawheed, belief in one God, patience under persecution, guidance, and stories of the past prophets. Because of being harassed and persecuted in Mecca, the Muslims had to migrate to Medina. The relations in Medina in the 10 years dealt with laws and social justice, issues such as marriage, trade, inheritance, rules of worship, prayer, fasting, zakat, hajj, and community building, and the rules of conduct during conflict. The wisdom behind the length of revelation was that it made the faith easier to digest, not overburdening the believers at once. The rules came in stages. Some revelations came as a situation or incident occurred in real time, and those revelations provided guidance. Fact 6. Why it's called Al-Furqan, the criterion. One of the Qur'an's names is Al-Furqan, Surah 25, Ayat 1. Blessed is he who sent down the criterion upon his servant, that he may be to the world a warner. Criterion can be defined as separating truth from falsehood, guidance from misguidance. The Qur'an is not just information. It is divine yardstick by which all beliefs, actions, and values can be measured. The Qur'an is a universal reference point, informing people what is right and what is wrong, not based on our opinion, but on divine wisdom. For who knows us better than our Creator? Fact 7. Oral preservation from day one. Every verse was memorized immediately by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. To understand how the Quran was preserved, we need to look at the world it entered. 7th century Arabia was not a place of books or libraries. Few could read or write. Instead, memory was the library. People trained themselves to hold thousands of lines of poetry, entire genealogies, and the stories of their tribes all within their minds. Poetry was their art, their pride. A skilled poet could lift the honor of his tribe or strike fear in his rivals with words alone. In that culture, oral tradition wasn't casual, it was exact. A mistake in a line or a slip in a genealogy would be caught and corrected immediately by others who carried the same words in their memory. So when the Quran was revealed, it entered a society already primed for memorization. Its rhythm and eloquence made it flow naturally into their hearts and tongues. From the very beginning, it was recited in gatherings, checked communally, and passed from one generation to the next. And in that culture of memory, the Quran found a home it could never be lost in. Fact 8. Role of Angel Jibril alayhi salam. The messenger angel of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the Quran, he is called Ruh al-Amin, the trustworthy spirit. Surah 26, ayats 193 through 194. The trustworthy spirit has brought it down upon your heart, O Muhammad, that you may be of the warners. Every revelation has a messenger. For the Quran, that messenger was Jibril alayhi salam, the trustworthy spirit. Chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jibril alayhi salam carried the words of heaven to the heart of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 23 years, never altering a single letter. His presence was immense, described as filling the horizons with wings of light. Yet his task was delicate, to bring guidance, comfort, and truth to humanity. Jibril alayhi salam was not new to this mission. He had carried divine messages to the prophets before, to Musa, to Isa, and to Maryam. Across centuries, he was the unseen link between heaven and earth, the guardian of revelation. To believe in the Quran is to recognize the angel who bore it, and in Islam, that belief is part of faith itself. Jibril alayhi salam remains the honored spirit who delivered not just words, but the very lifeline of guidance to mankind. Fact 9. Compilation under Abu Bakr radiallahu anha. After Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam returned to his Lord, a great danger arose. Many of those who had memorized the Quran fell in battle. Umar ibn al-Khattab, fearing that parts of the Quran might be lost if this continued, urged Abu Bakr, the first caliph, to preserve it in writing. At first, Abu Bakr hesitated. How could he do what the Prophet himself had not done? But soon, he realized preserving the Quran was in itself an act of devotion. He entrusted the task to Zayd ibn Thabit, one of the Prophet's scribes of revelation. Zayd later said, "By Allah, if they had ordered me to move a mountain, it would not have been more difficult than compiling the Quran." Verse by verse, page by page, Zayd gathered it from the hearts of men and the fragments of parchment, bone, and palm leaf. Every verse had to be confirmed by 2 witnesses. When the task was complete, the Quran existed as a single collection, guarded by Abu Bakr, then Umar, and then Hafsa, one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This careful effort ensured that not a single word was lost, and so the Qur'an was preserved in both memory and manuscript. Fact 10. Standardization under Uthman radiallahu anha. As Islam spread far beyond Arabia, differences in dialect threatened to confuse the recitation of the Qur'an. Uthman ibn Affan, the third caliph, took a bold step. He gathered the community around a single standardized text, the Quraysh dialect, the very tongue of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Using the manuscript kept by Hafsa, he oversaw the production of multiple copies, sending them to the great centers of the Muslim world. From this master copy, multiple accurate transcriptions were made. From that time to this very day, the Qur'an recited in Cairo, Istanbul, Jakarta, Lagos, or New York is one and the same, word for word, letter for letter. The standardization under Uthman ensured that the Qur'an would remain unified, unchanged, and eternal. From a mountain cave to every corner of the earth, the Qur'an has traveled through time unchanged. It began as a recitation on the lips of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and now lives in the hearts of billions. Surah 2, Ayat 2. This is the book, about which there is no doubt, guidance for those conscious of Allah. Surah 41, Ayat 53. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves, until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth. But is it not sufficient concerning your Lord that He is over all things a witness? In our next episode, we'll explore its unmatched language and why it continues to challenge and inspire humanity. Until next time, stay open and curious, and remember to be kind to each other and especially yourself. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.